What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Jose here at the First Round Vibe Podcast, accompanied by my boy, Mr. Soss.
What is up, one and all? Welcome to yet another episode, and this one actually is a special episode. It is episode 39, so we are inching closer and closer and closer to episode 40, which neither one of us really thought that we were going to hit this mark at this point, right?
Well, I didn't even really think about ever hitting really episode 40. I don't know, just an incredible milestone.
Oh, yeah.
We've been doing this for almost about a year, so it's almost our First Round Vibe Podcast anniversary. So I don't know, I'm really looking forward to the future, and I'm excited to see what episode 50 has in store for us. I know we're 11 episodes, 12 episodes away, but I want to do something fun for that episode.
Absolutely.
Maybe we bring on a guest or
we have
a little party or something.
We have to.
Right.
It just makes sense and everything. But on this one, we are actually going to be talking about quarterbacks in new places, which is kind of crazy because there's been a lot of movement, a lot more movement than what we're normally used to seeing, which is pretty awesome, in my opinion.
Right.
Especially since it kind of changes the landscape. Since we have other quarterbacks that have retired and moved on and everything, we've got new quarterbacks in new places. And some of these quarterbacks are actually really good. Some of the teams are obviously hoping that their new quarterback is going to be phenomenal. But some of the track records that they have aren't that great, to be fair. And with that being said, I think the first quarterback that we should talk about is probably, I would say, one of the biggest ones that has a lot of shoes to fill. And I would say that would be Russell Wilson.
You mean, is it big shoes to fill?
Not really necessarily shoes to fill. I guess I should have said expectations.
Right.
He's got the most expectations coming up.
Right.
And everything. So what are your initial thoughts?
Well, my initial
Russell
thoughts
Wilson to the
is my first initial thoughts on Russell Wilson to the Broncos were the Broncos are immediately contenders. But after that, I kind of pumped the brakes on that. And ask me why.
So why are you pumping the brakes on them being instant contenders?
Well, what division are the Broncos in?
Oh, God, that's right. They're in the AFC West?
Correct.
Yeah.
So obviously we know what talent lies in the AFC West. A bunch of talented quarterbacks, a bunch of talented receivers, defensive teams, awesome coaches. That freaking division is just completely stacked. So
absolutely.
Immediately you think Russell Wilson, he's going to make a contender team. But like I said, a lot of it also depends on the teams that are in that division, which I feel like him going to that division is obviously, it's going to be a big challenge for him, of course.
And he is definitely going to be running for his life.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to be running for his life because all those teams improved their pass rush. Mm-hmm. Now, the Broncos, they actually have a really good pass rush as well. But they also have a lot of young talent. And so I think he's going to do well, but I don't know if he's going to. Do you think that he's going to do better than he did over in Seattle? Last year was kind of a down year for him, I believe. And it's going to be really hard to replicate the successes that he had over there in Seattle because he won a Super Bowl with them.
Right. Well, it's just going to be a really tough situation, man. You're going to a new environment, new team, new players, new system, new coaches, new everything, new playbook.
That's right.
So honestly, I can sit here and say, the Broncos are instantly contenders, but at the same time, you have so many different things to learn and so many different obstacles to overcome. So honestly, as of right now, I don't believe the Broncos will come out on top of that division. They might squeak into the playoffs. Emphasis on the might. There's so much talent, like I said previous, so much talent. But I'm excited.
So stacked.
I'm excited to watch Russell Wilson this coming up year and seeing what he can do with all the weapons that he has. Mm-hmm.
It's going to be interesting seeing him in a Broncos uniform.
Yeah.
And part of the reason why I always get so excited to see, because one of the big things that drew me to football initially whenever I was younger was their jerseys and the uniforms and stuff that they wear. So anytime seeing somebody go from one jersey to another jersey that's so drastic, like whenever Peyton Manning, whenever he became a Bronco, actually, it was just so interesting to see how he would look in a new uniform and just how long it would take me to be able to accept that and everything. And I think that a lot of people are still trying to accept the fact that, Russell Wilson's now a Bronco. But moving on, how about how about that big news that just broke within I think it was this last week or so?
Yeah, within the past week.
Yeah, with Baker going over to the Panthers.
So I feel like this has been something we've kind of all, I feel like, anticipated.
Oh, yeah.
There's been a lot of rumors, a lot of tweets, a lot
yeah.
of, he said, she said, are they going to pull the trigger? Is he going to the Panthers? Is he going to go to the Seahawks? Where is he going to go? So the Panthers, as most of you may or may not know, they finally acquired Baker Mayfield, and I think it was for, what was it, like a 6th-round pick?
It was like a 6th or 7th.
6th or 7th round pick.
No, I think I was thinking about the N'Keal Harry
Right.
trade. So, but it wasn't a very high pick.
It wasn't a high pick, but they're also taking on that contract.
Salary, yeah.
So that's pretty much why the freaking the Browns stumped them off. But I don't know, man. I have mixed emotions about it. Obviously, first things first. I think it's hilarious how Robbie Anderson. We shared it a few episodes ago.
Yep.
How Robbie Anderson was not the biggest Baker fan.
Absolutely.
And then, excuse me. And then after they acquire him, Robbie Anderson's like, quit trying to paint the narrative. Like, I never said that. I didn't like Baker or something like that. And
but didn't they have a tweet from him saved that said that?
They had like a couple of them, and we've shared them on our last podcast or whatever.
Yeah, because we did talk about that before, and we were laughing about that. And now, of course, you're going to backpedal because you don't want to have that connection already being destroyed and everything. But it's such an interesting little dynamic too, because we all know Baker's personality. Baker, it's so weird though, because Baker, to me, he tries to be an alpha, but he has more of a beta personality whenever it comes to certain things.
Right.
Like, he wants to portray that he's an alpha, but then whenever the going gets tough, he becomes a beta.
Yeah.
And especially considering the fact, like, all the shit that he talked about with the Browns and everything, and severing that connection, like, it's just like, what in the world?
Yeah.
But I do think it's funny that now Robbie Anderson all of a sudden is like wanting to play nice.
Well, and then he was like, I was just trying to protect my quarterback, or something like that. If I can find the clip or find the tweet, I'll go ahead and post it on the screen so you guys can see. But I don't know.
That's great,
I don't think that, the Panthers bringing Baker over is going to give them like a huge improvement. Honestly, yes, in my opinion, he is an upgrade over Sam Darnold. Fun fact, though. I think they were both drafted in 2018, and the two quarterbacks with the most interceptions since that time is Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield. So now they were drafted 1 and 3.
Oh my gosh.
So it's really cool, or not, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. It's really interesting how now they're on the same team.
Right.
Yep.
So you're telling me that the Panthers now have two of the guys that are going to keep the ball out of the offense's hands the most?
I mean, if that's what you want to say.
I mean, well, that's probably what's going to happen. But I think I was reading somewhere, it might have been hearing it on ESPN or something like that, that I didn't know anything about the Panthers, like their defense and stuff. Mm-hmm. Is their defense still pretty good?
I think it's pretty average, a little above average, not bad. And like I said, I don't really keep up a whole lot with the Panthers, or a whole lot of news doesn't come out about the Panthers, so I don't really follow them to that extent.
Yeah, I don't really either, because the only reason why I would is for Christian McCaffrey. Mm-hmm. So now he has that weapon, but I have seen a lot of people talking about how Baker should be in a little bit better of a position because of the skill players and stuff. But I don't even know who the skill players are other than C-Mac and Robbie Anderson.
Well, he has DJ Moore.
DJ Moore, that's right.
A lot of people put a lot of hype behind DJ Moore. But it's kind of tough though, because he hasn't really had like a great quarterback to work behind. Right. So it's like, I don't want to sit here and hype DJ Moore like a lot of other people have, but he hasn't had the quarterback play to back it up.
To really, like,
you know what I mean?
Make his worth seem a little bit higher.
Right.
Yeah. No, I could see that. I could see that for sure. But also, Baker, he didn't have a bad supporting cast back there in Cleveland.
Yeah, he didn't.
And so it's just like, you kind of know what you get with Baker, which I was very wrong about him. I thought that he was going to take the next step because of all those weapons that he had, but no.
Yeah, you were really high on him last offseason.
Yeah, no, I really was, because, I mean, honestly, if you look at the situation, he had a lot of weapons. He had a lot of trajectory to do well. Mm-hmm. But he ended up screwing the pooch. So
screwing the pooch.
You've never heard of that, have you?
No.
Oh my. I can't even with this guy. I can't even. All right. So one of the other quarterbacks, Mr. Matt Ryan.
Mr. Matt Ryan, Mr. Matty Ice,
Matty Ice.
Mr. Choke Artist on the Indianapolis Colts. I like the move. I know we've talked about it in the past. I love the move. Great veteran presence, good quarterback.
Absolutely.
I think it's going to work wonders. I feel like he will sneak the Colts into the playoffs. I'm excited to see him play.
Yeah, I have mixed emotions on him, mostly because of the fact that, well, for one, he's going to a team that's in the same division as the Titans, so I don't want him to do well. No, but I actually, because of the competitiveness and competitive nature of the NFL and everything, I really want him to succeed as well. But man, I just don't know how much I trust him, because you don't know which version of Matt Ryan you're going to get. You don't know if you're going to get the shitty version or the good version.
Well, man, I feel like the Falcons, they kind of, I feel like they've been kind of doing them dirty.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? They haven't really given him the support that he needs, in my opinion.
Yeah, especially not the last few years.
The last few years is what I'm talking about. Like, yeah, obviously, I know he had Julio Jones. I know he had Calvin Ridley, but Calvin Ridley was kind of rocky towards not going into this past season. Obviously, he had those mental health issues, but even before then, I think the season before that, he was kind of a little bit rocky. But I don't know. I feel like they could have done more for Matt Ryan to be successful. But
absolutely.
Then again, he also choked in the Super Bowl. So
he did, which obviously that's going to leave a stinging pain for everybody involved in that situation. But I think that he's going to do really well, because like we've talked about before, they have a lot of good young talent over there in Indianapolis and everything, and their defense is going to be really good. We already know that their offensive line is going to be able to hold up really well. He's got JT behind him, which is, if not the top running back, then top two running backs. And then he's got Michael Pittman Jr., and then I don't know who else he has to throw to over there.
I think they still have T.Y. Hilton, but obviously he's like near the end of his career.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he'll get you some yards in every game, but he's not the T.Y. Hilton as before, of course.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I agree with that. So I think that Matt Ryan I think he'll have a good year. I think that he'll have a better year than Carson Wentz did last year with the Colts. Do you think? What are you thinking?
I think he'll. I think he'll have a better year than Carson Wentz last year. He'll lead them into the playoffs, I think.
Definitely.
But we'll see. Only time will tell.
Definitely. And so with that being said, let's just transition over to good old Carson Wentz. He is now with the Commanders. I almost called them the Washington football team, which honestly, I feel like they should
sounds a little bit better.
They should have just kept Washington football team.
Yeah, honestly.
Because Commanders is not it, at least not to me. Let us know what you guys think of the new name. You probably all hate it too, unless you're from Washington. Actually, no, even their fans don't like the name. Either way, so Carson Wentz, he is an interesting player. At one point, he had an MVP type season, and everybody wonders if that was just a one-off thing, or if he could. Everybody thought that he was going to be able to recapture that, because he was with Frank Reich over there in Indy. But obviously, he didn't have the best year, and even like their management team, their leadership team, they all said they were talking trash on Carson Wentz whenever he left, calling him a mistake over there in Indy. Which obviously, I mean, you ended off the last two games of the season, do or die situation for the playoffs. Ended up shitting the bed.
And against the Jags.
Yeah. So obviously, there's going to be some bad blood there, but. I think it would be hilarious if Carson Wentz does well over with the Commanders, because then what's that going to say about the Colts? Because the Colts couldn't get a good Carson Wentz out of it and everything. But also, what if Matty Ice struggles even more over there in Indy? Is that going to put into question the coaching staff over there? But in regards to Carson Wentz, man, it's so hard to try to pinpoint how well he's going to do. And plus, the Commanders just gave Terry McLaurin. Mm-hmm. I can't remember.
McLaurin.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they just gave him a fat contract and everything. I think that he's a phenomenal receiver. I think he's very underrated, because the quarterback play over there has been crap. It's been absolutely terrible. So. My thoughts, I think he's going to have an average year. I don't think he's going to do bad. I don't think he's going to do great. I think he's going to have an average year because I feel like that's what he is. He's just an average quarterback at this point.
Yeah, you're right, but at the same time, that division's not the greatest. Obviously, in my opinion, the Cowboys are probably the strongest team, usually year in and year out. The Eagles, obviously, they kind of come and go, but the Cowboys are more, I feel like, more consistent with their success.
They are.
So put the Commanders in that division, then I feel like they have a chance to maybe even get a wild card spot just because of the division.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and honestly, you can't really count out though, especially with how well the Eagles have been doing. As I say, have been doing. They had a decent draft, and then
the Eagles had a great draft.
Yeah, and then picking up AJ Brown from my Titans, sad face. But yeah, so that division is going to be still kind of formidable. They're going to definitely be better than the Giants, I think.
Oh yeah, the Giants they're a hot mess.
They're terrible. But yeah, no, I think that Carson Wentz is going to do okay, and I do think that they are going to squeak into the playoffs, honestly, which would be kind of crazy. But that defense is really good.
Yeah,
it's really good.
They have a pretty good team, man. Just the quarterback play is really rocky.
Yeah.
Same with the. With the Colts, like they have a good defense, they got a good run, a good offensive line, they have a decent receiving core. So it's all just dependent on the quarterback play.
Exactly. So we'll definitely see how he does. Now we're going to talk about a couple people that are kind of lower end on the radar. Trubisky over to the Steelers.
Yeah, I'm not impressed.
I'm not either.
I don't think he's even going to take the starting role. I mean, at this point, I think because you're not gonna win with Trubisky. Like you might, no. I mean, you might get whatever 4 or 5 wins in the season with him, but at the end of the day, my opinion, he's not the guy that's gonna lead you to the Super Bowl or even to the playoffs. Like if you just drafted freaking Kenny Pickett, you might as well just roll the dice with him. You don't have anything to lose. You know what I mean? So just stick with Pickett, roll the dice with him. If he does good, he does good. If he doesn't, he doesn't. And at least he gets some playing time and gets to develop. So
yeah. That plus we're weeks away from training camp or preseason,
2-3 weeks, yep.
So we will definitely see what happens in that Steelers camp. But yeah, I know I agree. I don't think. I mean, you kind of already know what Trubisky is and everything. He's probably going to be a decent backup and everything. But if like you said, I think that Kenny Pickett's gonna. You might as well just start him.
Right.
I mean that's kind of how it is in the NFL these days. You don't get that time to sit your guys. You have to go ahead and just play them. And I think that we had one more. Oh yeah, Drew Locke to the Seahawks.
What are your thoughts on that?
I actually was a decent fan of Drew Locke going into the draft that he was in. Part of it was just because the Titans had interest in him and everything. He's athletic and everything. I just don't know if he can make all the passes, and I don't know that it's all up there. I don't know about his football acumen. I don't think he's got a whole lot of football intelligence to him and everything. He makes a lot of dumb decisions, but he also shows flashes and everything. I definitely think that he's just going to be a stopgap for them until they find. And obviously, I think that he was just kind of thrown in there because obviously they wanted to trade quarterback for quarterback,
Yeah.
So what do you think about him?
I don't know a whole lot about Drew Locke, to be honest with you, but from what I do know, I don't think that he's your franchise guy. I don't think that he's going to be the guy, kind of like I said about Trubisky. I don't think he's going to be the guy that takes you to the playoffs, takes you to the Super Bowl, or gives you that continued success that you want to see from your franchise quarterback.
Absolutely.
But kind of like what you mentioned, I feel like he's just a guy to plug in the hole for now. And I want to say they drafted a quarterback in this draft. Did they?
I think they did, but I don't think that it was anybody to write home about.
Right, but yeah, I don't think Drew Locke's the answer. I feel like they're probably gonna either trade for somebody, or they're probably just gonna roll the dice with him this season, see how it goes, and maybe draft somebody next year. I don't know. Yeah,
because there's a good chance that they could have a high draft pick next year.
Yeah, for sure.
Considering the fact that Drew Locke is, like, in my opinion, not the answer. So. But yeah, so that is our thoughts on the new quarterbacks, the new places, and everything. I think that honestly, our opinions are pretty spot on. And that's not just because it's us, because obviously we're not experts or anything, but that's what we think. So let us know down in the comments what you guys think. Let us know if you guys agree with us or disagree with us. I mean, we're open to any and all conversations. So with that being said, my friend Jose, do we have anything else, or do you personally have anything else for our lovely viewers?
Just thank you for the support, guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in, watching. We still have, honestly, I think we have more following in freaking Germany than we do in the States somehow.
Do, more than
so
likely.
Shout out to everybody listening from Germany. We appreciate you guys. But yeah, keep your eyes and ears open for next episode.
Absolutely. And with that being said, next episode is going to be episode 40, which is going to be kind of a milestone for us and everything. So we're pretty excited about that. And the next one, well, not the next episode, but the next milestone is definitely going to be that 50th episode. So stay tuned for everything First Round Buy. Just head over to firstroundbuy.com for your merch, previous episodes and everything. We actually just got done with the mini series on fantasy football. So check that out if you would. And with that being said, we'll catch you guys in the next one.